How to figure out a business idea. If you're thinking of starting new, or you've already got an idea and you want to learn, hey, how can I figure out if this is a good fit? You've come to the right place.
As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights.
So when it comes to starting a new business and starting with and figuring out that initial idea, there's three basic steps. The first step is basically you need to go through and identify what is going to be your product or service. Second is you need to research it. So first, we define it. Second, we research it. Third, we're going to test it. And we're going to go through each one of those steps today. I wrote the book, The Aspiring Solopreneur, and within that book, it has very detailed questions and processes on how you do that. And we also have an online course that's associated with it. You can go to theaspiringsolopreneur.com. But you can get a lot of this stuff for free. So just check out other parts on our channel. But the initial part, when we think about how do I identify what it is I want to do, I would ask you to start thinking about what are the areas that you have certain skill sets? What are people already paying you for? What are the types of things you're looking at? Candidly, if you think, oh, I'm going to go be the next Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg and start something huge and brand new and bet and test that, you might be able to, but the odds are really, really against you. However, if you're looking at something like, look, I'm pretty good at this and I work in this company and I do whatever, graphic design, counseling, a million different services, there may be a strong chance that if you like doing it, but maybe you just don't particularly like your environment you're in, and you have the ability to be a self-starter, well, start to think about what are the areas that you currently do and areas that you may be able to transfer that out in other places. The gig economy and the solopreneur economy has never been bigger. It's expanding, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it redefines how people get to choose to work. Within that, there are certain tax advantages that we talk about in other videos on why it's beneficial for a company to contract with somebody to do some of that existing work. Now, maybe you have design, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. For you though, you need to first identify and define those things and think about what are the aspects of those jobs that you like. So maybe you actually like being a bookkeeper or an accountant and you're happy to go out and be a bookkeeper on your own, but you only want to work 20 hours a week, okay? So initial, but start thinking about what are the motivations you're looking at. And then there's a variety of different tools that can help you. And again, you're welcome to go to the website for that. But once you've started to define what it is you want to do, I'm going to ask you to get it about 80% done. Most people, and I've coached hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on their small businesses, is they get excited about a new idea and they invest all this time and energy trying to make their offering or what they think they're going to do perfect. And they get really wrapped around the axle with it. But I'm going to challenge you not to do that. What I'm going to challenge you to do is to stay conceptually and say, yeah, I like the general idea of doing something. Maybe it's bookkeeping, maybe it's whatever. We'll use bookkeeping as our example today. But it's like, okay, yeah, I like doing bookkeeping, but I don't like going into an office. Or, fair enough, but think about what those pieces are, but don't define exactly what type of bookkeeping or what it is you're looking for. Get it close, and then you can also start to think, what are the areas in my life that I like? I have a friend actually who's a bookkeeper, and she enjoys motorcycles, and she happens to end up being the bookkeeper for a Harley-Davidson dealer. She's a contractor, she's able to contract with that. It works well for her, she has flexibility in her time. She also does a little bit of extra here and there where she works with other small businesses, but she found something that fit for her, that gave her the time and flexibility. She's a single mom, had the ability to do a lot of flexible things with her kids. So, but she didn't know exactly what she wanted. She just knew she wanted to do bookkeeping. By saying, okay, I'm willing to be a bookkeeper, I want to have this as my job or my side gig or my own business idea. How do I then go out and start finding it? Well, see how others are starting to research, or see how others are solving the problem. If you can take the time and invest, all right, how would somebody else solve this problem? So if you think that you would be a bookkeeper, or you want to be an independent counselor, or whatever it may be, try try and put yourself in your target client's shoes. And what I mean by that is, if your ideal client, let's use counseling as an example, how are they solving the problem? How are they looking for you? How would they find you as a counselor? And start to see, and just pretend that you are, and go and look online. And if it's Google, look on Google. If it's LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok or whatever your form of medium is that you would look, but go and start looking at how people are solving that problem. How are they out there? How are they finding it? And you're going to see how people are solving this problem in different ways. So if you go and you start researching, you say, well, here's somebody who only does accounting for whatever. Actually, in the book we talk about there's an accountant that only does it for truckers. It says accountant CPA. I love that because it's very niche. It happens to be right on the interstate. Somebody can see it. So in that particular case, they've defined they like working with the truckers and transport industry. They're experts in that space. They have figured out the niche that they want, and they were able to go in and look around and see how are other people solving these problems. And as a result, they were able to refine and build their product or their service, their idea, and refine it out even more. So once you start to refine it and get closer, then the third step I'm going to ask you to do is to go out and start talking to people who could potentially be clients. Now the key here is to not sell them. You're just specifically asking if they would be willing to give a little bit of their time, give you their feedback. If you say, hey, look, you could go to if you're the trucker CPA, you could go to the truck stop and say, hey, I'm just curious, you got a second? How do you guys do your accounting? Who handles that for you? What matters to you with that? What is important? What isn't? And when you hear that and you hear the words they're using, it's going to help you not only with your marketing, but you may also say, well, geez, if I could make it really easy for people to do their expense accounts, I could do their bookkeeping and their actual accounting. Or maybe, who knows, whatever it is. But what is the communication system or process that's going to make it easier for them? And the more you can think about this, keep asking questions. You're not looking for a client right now, although you may stumble into a few. But you really want to hear what is it they're looking for? How can you help them be successful? And then you keep going around. And what happens is you ask this enough, you're going to start to refine, well, I thought I was going to do this, but actually I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to adjust this way. And another question you can be asking people is, how would you find this person? Where would you go? And you say, look, I'm thinking about expanding into this business. If you were in my shoes, how would you do this? Where would you be found? And you can actually keep pushing on that and ask questions. And you'll be amazed, but you'll actually start to create your marketing program out of this. And candidly, if people come back and say, no, I don't want anything. I don't know anybody who want that. That's a good thing because it's helping you figure out, is it a good business idea or a bad business idea? It's okay. Remember, sometimes it's okay to learn that, man, this wasn't a good fit. I've explored hundreds of businesses that weren't a good fit. They were close, but they weren't exactly right. That's why my success rate's been pretty strong. So if you can invest that time, look at how others want you to, what they're presenting, and then say, hey, is this going to be a good fit? Well, then you're starting to get to a point where you've got a pretty solid idea. Now, there's 100 other things you need to do when you're starting a business, from figuring out what's the right structures to how you're going to do your own compliance and bookkeeping and insurance and marketing and all these other pieces. But the beautiful thing is there's a lot of people out there who can help you with it. But long story short, when it comes to figuring out that business idea, first, number one, think about what's going to be in alignment with who you are and what skill sets you already have. I'm willing to bet that there's something out there already that sits with that. Second, go out and research it. How are others solving this? What can you learn from how they're doing it? How could you take it, maybe improve it? And then thirdly, how can you go out then and start testing it? See what others are doing and what they think and how it's getting solved. If you have found any value with this, we'd certainly love you to subscribe. If you have questions, please connect. And as always, you're always welcome to go to theaspiringsolopreneur.com. Thank you. Keep smiling.